Hi. So, as you know, I have been struggling for a while now with foot, leg, calf pain on my left leg. So much so that it had really majorly affected the run up to the Oxman because I wasn't able to get a bike shoe on. Socks were hurting my feet. I was struggling to walk. I had to stop training for a while, and that really was the reason why I hadn't done enough cycling, and so therefore wasn't able to finish the full 90k at the weekend. Now, I am still waiting for a nerve test, and I've been to see a doctor, and no one can figure out what is going on this leg. I went to see Hans Lutters from Hands On, the guy who did the course here when I went up to Christchurch and did my lymphatic drainage course. Had a massage off him before I came back from Christchurch at the weekend, and I asked him briefly what he thought was going on, and something that he said has set me on a little detective journey. He mentioned balance. Now, I'm going to go back to the beginning of my story. So at the beginning, what first started to happen was I started to get numbness in the bottom of my foot when I was out cycling. Then this changed and turned into sort of tingly, pins and needles, burning pain. Then came the calf pain, and then from there, the nerve pain escalated, and I had to go and see a doctor because I was struggling to walk, couldn't get a sock on, it hurt to even touch it. It was almost allodynia-like. And I went to see a doctor. The doctor said he didn't know. It was a bit strange because the pain had started in my foot and gone up my leg when normally he would have expected it to go the other way. They did some tests, made sure I wasn't diabetic, made sure my blood levels were all correct and everything was right. So they still didn't know. So they referred me for a nerve test. I've chosen to pay for that, and I had to cancel it because I was in the Gold Coast. So it's now in January. So I'm still waiting for the nerve test. Meanwhile, I went on a journey to find out what it was myself, and I tried a chiropractor. Hated it. Not necessarily sure it helped my foot. I also did all sorts of supplements, fish oil supplements, B12 and all sorts of other things, and massage, and managed to get the nerve pain back under control. And at the time, I really didn't care which of those things it was that was helping, because I needed to get a bike shoe on, needed to get bike cycling. Now, I managed to get the nerve pain back under control, so much so that I cut my dose down to a quarter for the nerve pain tablets they would given me. I did not want to take them. And then eventually, the nerve pain in my foot stopped, but the calf pain continued. And I've always had that. Sometimes it's so acute that I can't walk across the room. This morning when I got up, I couldn't stand up, and it took me an hour or so to even be able to put a foot on the floor and walk. It is really, really acute at the moment. After the race, bear that in mind, right? So I went to see Hans. He said balance. So I thought, Now I had been to see a physio, Accelerate Physio, after my knee replacement. They were talking about my centre of balance and correcting me because I've been leaning over onto the good side so much. And he was talking about recentering that and told me to stand on the gyro board. That's how that even came about, because Kimberly then bought one for me to use. And I did it for a while and all was well. And so I stopped using it because everything seemed fine. But if we go back to my detective story, what is going on here? Hans said balance. So I went right back to the fact that I had been favouring the left side. And I've always wondered whether that was something to do with it, because my left leg has always fatigued faster than my right leg. And I've never been able to sort out why that is necessarily. But if we say balance, and we say my centre of balance is still not correct and I'm still favouring the left more, then that would be why the left leg fatigues more. That could also be why the left calf fatigues faster, and why we've got to the acute phase, because it's always being used more. But is that true? So I would usually, if I was a client of my own, I would do a gait analysis and have the person walk across the room, but I can't at the moment because my gait is too affected by the pain in my calf, and it would not be accurate. So what would I do next if I was my own client? Look at your shoes. Now, people will know how I am with shoes. Shoes tell you a large story. Now these shoes I tend to wear at work, and I've had them since I got the knee replacement. I got new shoes then because I knew that my gait would be different, and that if I wore shoes that had been worn to a pattern before the knee was replaced, it could actually cause me back problems. So that's why I got new shoes. Now, have a look at my shoes. Left foot, right foot, right? So if we look at the ball of the foot first, this one is wearing more than this one. But the bit I thought was really interesting, if we go up a little to the heel, look how much more heel wear there is on my left foot more than my right foot. So bearing all that in mind, it would be very fair to say I'm still favouring the left, walking on the left with more weight than the right. And I'm heel striking on the left, which I found really curious because I've never done that before. So I don't know why that is happening. So now I've figured that perhaps I am actually favouring the left side. Then I looked back at nerve pain. So what nerves run through the leg? Now, there's a whole load of them, but since the weekend, the race at the weekend, my calf has been really, really freaking painful. I could barely walk at the end of the race, and it's been really, really sore since. We've gone back several weeks in how bad this is, and it's actually quite depressing. But it's also telling me a story, because when I rest my leg elevated with my weight on the calf, my foot has now started to tingle and go numb like it used to. If I turn my leg around and lift the weight off my calf, it stops. And it's almost immediate. It's almost an immediate onset and almost immediate rectify if I move my leg. So that made me think maybe there is a nerve issue here that is muscle related. So could this thing be all the other way round? I was wondering whether the nerve pain was causing the muscle pain, but actually maybe if I am favouring the left side and fatiguing that leg much faster than the other one, and those muscles are fatiguing faster, perhaps that is what is causing the nerve pain. So what causes, can a muscle fatigue, muscle inflammation cause nerve pain? Yes, it can. Now, what happens to cause that? Usually muscle inflammation due to fatigue, overuse, that sort of thing, in combination with continuous repetitive movement, can cause nerve impingement. What was I doing at the weekend? I was cycling. What is that? Continuous repetitive movement. So then, what nerves run through the lower leg that could be causing all these issues? Can I connect the nerve impingement symptoms to my symptoms and therefore prove that the muscle fatigue and inflammation is causing the nerve impingement, which is causing my foot pain? Can I prove that? Well, I've got an anatomy app that I use when I'm explaining things to all of my PT and massage clients. I'm going to show you how it works. So this is the calf. I've illustrated the muscles on here and the yellow lines, which are the nervous system. So that's your gastroc, and underneath it is your soleus. They're the two main muscles that make up your calf. And then in between, we have got the nervous system, which runs through them both. So the first nerve I want you to look at is the sural nerve, that one there, and it runs in between the gastroc and the soleus. The sural nerve pain, burning and tingling big toe. So then, the next one we're going to look at, the tibial nerve. There it is highlighted there, and the tibial nerve is deep underneath the soleus. And what's its symptoms? Numbness, tingling on the bottom of your foot. Tibial nerve is connected to sciatic nerve. So, as you can see, the symptoms that I have are the same symptoms that would be caused by nerve entrapment in the calf, caused by the impingement of both the gastroc, which is the outside muscle on your calf, the soleus, which is the one underneath, and the two nerves that run over and in between those muscles, which are the tibial nerve and the sural nerve. The symptoms of both of those, for entrapment of those nerves, are the symptoms that I've had and do have in my foot. The more acute that it gets, the more intense the pain in the foot gets, and the more obvious the tibial nerve pain gets, because that's the one that's deep in my leg. So, going back to the beginning, I believe that this is the problem. My weight is still too much favouring the left side, and the reason for that's probably a muscle weakness. That part I haven't got to yet. I think I need a physio. So my centre of balance is still over to the left, which means I'm fatiguing my left leg much faster than my right leg. And that means that the muscle that in that leg is inflamed and therefore impinging the nerves in my lower leg, which is causing the foot nerve pain. So what do I do about all this? Well, I can't get an appointment for the physio until the 13th of January, but meanwhile, I'm going to really concentrate on trying to recorrect and favour my right leg, because for a lot of years, I've been avoiding it because it was injured. So I'm also going to get some massage because I need to calm this godforsaken calf back down again. It's really not happy with me. And I know that that works, and I know that helps get the pain under control, but it won't help to correct this problem in the first place, because I need to fix balance left and right. So, will the nerve conduction test show me that? Who knows? Will the physio be able to tell me what is going wrong? I am very confident, because Joel was fab the last time I went, and was hands on right when he suggested that my balance was off. That was the very first thing he said when I asked him what he thought was happening. Yes, I believe he does. I believe he is right, absolutely dead right. So, I have self-diagnosed that problem. Centre of balance off, fatiguing the left leg, causing muscle inflammation, causing nerve impingement. I think it is in that order. And that's the other reverse order to where you might traditionally see something and it's causing the nerve pain in my foot. As that exacerbates, it goes up. The tibial nerve's connected to the sciatic nerve, which means that it would also then cause upper leg and glute pain and all sorts of other things the worse it gets. All makes total perfect sense to me. But what would I know? I'm only a massage therapist.